So what's happening, people? It's me again, Courtney, doing my MMA predictions. This time it's for UFC 116, Lesnar versus Carwin, which will take place on Saturday the 3rd of July 2010 at the MGM Grand Garden Arena in Las Vegas. Yes, this is a late posting. I've been on holiday in the Canary Islands, sunning it away. But anyway, I'll get straight into it. Main event on this card is Brock Lesnar versus Shane Carwin. Brock Lesnar is the current UFC heavyweight champion. He's 6'3". He's got a 4-1 record. Brock Lesnar is a big dude. Has to cut weight to make 265 from about 320, I think, or something like that. For his size, he's quite quick. He's relatively young in MMA. He's only had 5 fights, but he's finished most of those fights. There's only 2 that he hasn't finished. His 1 loss and the one against Heath Herring, his decision win against Heath Herring. I think his last 3 fights have finished in the first round. What else has Brock Lesnar done? Pissed off a lot of people. He's pissed off a lot of people, but he's just made me laugh. Some people hate him in MMA, but you can't hate on the guy, man. He's just bringing more people to it, really. In his last 5 fights, he's had 4 wins and 1 loss. And his last fight, he beat Frank Mir via TKO. Frank Mir got pinned and battered, basically. And he's fighting with Shane Carwin, who's the interim heavyweight champ of the UFC, who's 6'4" or 6'2", depending on which site you go on. He's got an undefeated record with 12-0. Shane Carwin, very heavy hands. Brock Lesnar's got big hands. Shane Carwin's got heavy, big hands. That's what his punches make. Look at the size of that. That's what his hands like. Shane Carwin's got super big, heavy hands. He could hit a rhino and it'd fall. This guy could hit elephants as well, man. He's a good wrestler, and he's a finisher. He's finished all of his fights, and I'm not sure if any of them have been past the first round. So his cardio, always a question. Some people always question that if you haven't been past the first round. He has got submission. If you look at his submission wins, if you look at his record, he has submitted people via guillotine. In his last fight, he beat Frank Mir by KO. Frank Mir wanted to clinch with Shane Carwin and just got against the cage. He got battered. But anyway, Shane Carwin, his last 5 fights, he's had 5 wins. He's undefeated. For this fight, though, I'm picking the People's Champ. I'm calling Shane Carwin the People's Champ. Shane Carwin is going to win this fight. He's training with Greg Jackson and those boys down there, so I think he'll have a game plan for Lesnar. Lesnar, I'm not sure what he's doing. I've been looking on the net to see what he's been doing or anything like that. So I don't know what he's going to do. He can hit people, but they're not going to fall. I've seen him hit Heath Herring, repeatedly hit Frank Mir. Frank Mir was taking the shots, even though he lost. He was taking the shots. When Shane Carwin was hitting Frank Mir was in pain. He took about 3 or 4 shots and he was in pain. So what I think is going to happen is Shane Carwin is either going to KO or TKO Brock Lesnar, and I think it's going to be quick. Lesnar may know that and may try to go for the takedown. I think he will probably take down. Whoever's going to, the person who I think is going to do the takedown first, if it goes that far, is Lesnar. But Carwin has got ground game, as he's submitted people before, may submit him on the ground, but don't know. But I pick Carwin to win by KO or TKO. There you go. Next fight on the card is Wanderlei Silva versus Yoshihiro Akiyama. Wanderlei Silva, favourite fighter, one of them anyway. He's got 33-10-1 record. He's 5'11". This guy's a legend. I don't need to say much about it. Everyone knows about it. If you don't know about Wanderlei Silva, type him in on YouTube, whatever video site you're looking on. Just look at the highlight reels of this guy. Hyper aggressive, super hyper aggressive, intergalactic hyper aggressive, whatever. This guy he's just legend, aggressive. Looks in shape now at middleweight, and he's learned to jab as well, which has always been missing from his game. As he showed in his last fight against Michael Bisping, who he beat via decision. He nearly submitted him, and he nearly knocked him out as well. But hey, that was his first proper fight at middleweight, I think, yeah. So he's adjusted. beat Bisping. In his last 5 fights, he's had 2 wins and 3 losses. He's fighting Yoshihiro Akiyama, who's got a 13-1 record, who's 5'10". This guy's a judoka. He's a black belt in judo. He's an Asian Cup champion. He has submissions. He's got a solid stand-up. He's very quick as well. Not afraid to take a shot as well. As you've seen in his last fight against Alan Belcher, who he beat by a split decision. In his last 5 fights, he's had 4 wins, no losses, and 1 no contest. Akiyama, or Sexyama, as people like to call him, has a tendency in his previous fights, in his judo fights as well, greasing. But hey, he's not going to get away with that here. By the way, have you seen his misses? Yeah, but this fight anyway, I'm not going to pick against Vanderlei. I think Vanderlei is going to win via just a beat down. He's going to give Akiyama a pride beat down, I think, without the football kicks to the head. Not soccer kicks, football kicks to the head, punch to the head. But I'm going to pick Vanderlei either via TKO. Yeah, I'm going to pick Vanderlei via TKO. There you go. Next fight on the card, potentially to be fight of the night. This is one of probably 4 that could be fight of the night on the main card anyway. Chris Lytle versus Matt Brown. Chris Lytle is 5'11". He's got a 28, 17 and 5 record. This guy's a veteran, well-rounded, will stand in trade for entertainment. He wants that fight of the night bonus. He wants every bonus that's going on the card. He's not been finished in a while. If a fight does get stopped, it's usually via a cut for him. But yeah, this guy, he got submissions as well, as you've seen in his last fight against Brian Foster, submitted him with a rolling knee bar, I think it was. In his last 5 fights, he's had 3 wins and 2 losses. And he's fighting Matt the Immortal Brown, who's got an 11-8 record. He's an Ultimate Fighter veteran, got heavy hands, but he's susceptible to submissions. If you look on his record, most of his losses have come via submission. And his last fight, he lost via submission to Ricardo Almeida via rear naked choke, I think it was. In his last 5 fights, he's had 3 wins and 2 losses. This fight is going to be crazy, I'm telling you. Bombs are going to be swinging all day. It's going to be like flipping Baghdad in there, man. That's how they're going to be throwing. But anyway, I'm going to pick Chris Lytle to win this via submission. I think he's going to deal with Matt Brown's onslaught and not get knocked out, basically. But yeah, Chris Lytle via submission. The next fight on the card I'm not too fussed about. Stefan Wada versus Krzysztof Soszyński. These fought last time, a previous UFC. Soszyński won because Bon had a cut on his head from an accidental headbutt, but I'm going to pick Soszyński again to win via TKO or decision. Next fight on the card is George Sotiropoulos versus Kurt Pellegrino. Another fight of the night potential right here. Sotiropoulos is shot through the UFC, beat up Joe Stevenson, he's put some impressive performances, boxing wise, he's got sick jiu-jitsu, he's gaining a fan base, he's technical in his submission game. In his last fight, he beat Joe Stevenson convincingly via decision. That was in Australia, I think it was. He's got a 12-2 record. In his last 5 fights, they've all been wins. And he's fighting Kurt Batman Pellegrino, who's got a 16-4 record. He's 5'8". There's another guy with sick jiu-jitsu, good wrestling. He's got a good work rate as well. In his last few fights, he's relied more on his wrestling than he has his submission game. And his last win was against Fabrizio Comoes, I think it was. And his last 5 fights, he had 4 wins and 1 loss. And the 1 loss was a submission loss, actually. For this fight, it's going to be hard to pick, but I'm going to go with Sotiropoulos, doing the same thing what he did to Joe Stevenson. I think he's going to win that way. But it should be a good fight. Don't count out Pellegrino there as well. Tough cat. But anyway, those are my picks. Yes, they're late. Follow me on Twitter with the same username, chokewho. I may do a review video. Depends on how I feel after the fights. But anyway, any questions or anything, holler at me, send me a message, Twitter, whatever on here. Post, comment, whatever. But anyway, I'm gone. Peace. Oh yeah, representing Leicester shoot fighters today.